Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Milwaukee Mile, the oldest continuously operating motorsport facility in the world. Open since 1905, but we are here today for the 2022 VRL Cup Series for the Milwaukee 200. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight. 1080p, 60 frames a second, folks. I hope you all are excited and ready for the action here today after the action that we saw last week at Talladega, which we saw Aaron Smith taking home the win in the 70 machine. Now, as we start to see our drivers make their way out onto track and begin their qualifying runs here today, we're looking at the 85 machine of Cody Welch, currently making his way out on track. Last week, he's placed himself 6th place in the race at Talladega, which, frankly, folks, not an easy race to win there. Definitely a lot of uncertainty throughout that entire race, and Aaron Smith leading 13 of those laps, managing to pull away with the win in the final moments of that race. But the Milwaukee Mile here is a different story. I'd like to say that it is probably one of the look at this. Cody Welch going sideways, dirt tracking it here, and that's one of the points that I wanted to bring up here, folks. If you are not familiar with Milwaukee, it is a treacherously flat track. Let's actually ride on board here for just a moment with Cody Welch, just to give you folks at home an idea. Oh, look at him trying to twist and turn that wheel to keep this car straight as he works his way down the back straight. And if you're paying attention here, looking into turn 3, you can see there is hardly no banking here in these turns. So you're practically looking at just a large, very large short track, which I'm absolutely all for, man. We are going to see some incredible racing out of these drivers here today, and I expect to see some fairly stiff competition out there here tonight. So as drivers start to wrap up their qualifying here, or as rather get their qualifying underway for the most part, let's actually take a look at our current best times. Tony Hilbrand's placing himself at the very tippy top with a 30.86 in that 9.2 machine. So Tony's going to be looking fairly solid out here so far with a pretty impressive time. And just behind him, it's Aaron Smith, our last week winner, coming in with a 30.87, so just 1/100th of a second behind the 92 of Tony Hilbrand's. Very impressive there. We're looking at Nicholas Lavelle in the 12 machine, in the 10 machine in 12th place currently. Getting my numbers mixed up there. Currently sitting in, well, just as he comes across the line there, he puts himself back up into 10th place, but that's going to be the end of his qualifying run here today. And a lot of our drivers here going to be completing their qualifying runs here today, as we look at Charles Jurek in the 76 machine, going to be coming across the line for the very first time. Let's see where he places himself on. Ooh, not too great for the first time around for the 76 machine of Charles Jurek, but give him time. Let's see how he does the next time around, as we see a little bit of shuffling around happening as drivers begin to complete their final laps. Let's take a look at James Miller, currently sitting in 6th place at this point in time with 31.14 as his best time, making his way into turn 3. Now, folks, I was watching before we went live here, taking a look at some of the action that we're looking forward to here for tonight's race, and it's just like Corey Mitchell saying in the chat right now, it is slick out there. It is absolutely slick. This track is going to be absolutely difficult, to say the least, to be able to keep those tires fresh and grippy. I mean, and drivers have 55, wow, that's a great number. 5 sets of tires for this race, not 55. I don't know where that number came from. Anyhow, as we're looking on here, I think Tony Hilbrand's might have this one secured for himself, as long as we don't see anyone else that might come out here late in the field, as we were looking at William Britton. I remember I had this issue last time and he corrected me. It is Britton, like the country. William Britton placing himself in 16th with a 32 flat for his best time here, and he's going to take it back into the pit stall and get ready for the race here today, as James Coulibaly The 12 machine currently sitting at the bottom of the grid here. Well, I say the bottom, but there's still a good handful of drivers that have not made their way out onto track here today. And frankly, folks, honestly, I don't blame them. We're looking at some pretty intense action out here on track already, and it's just qualifying. I mean, we're seeing drivers getting all over the track here as we get ready for our starting grid to appear here in just a moment as drivers have their... Nope, there it is. Right on time. Very, very timely as per usual, getting things right along here. Usually they take this time to have a little bit of a driver's meeting as well as just kind of get comfortable before the race here. But as they like to get things going and get things ready, we are going to go ahead and get into our starting grid here today. So that is going to be Tony Hilbrand's the 92 machine taking the very front of our grid here. Aaron Smith placing himself in second place in the 70 machine after coming home with a win from Talladega last week. James Miller placing himself in third in the 09 machine, with Nick Nickerson in fourth place in the number 2 machine. Rounding out your second row, Benny Hogan in fifth in the number 5 machine. You know, I feel like Benny has done that quite often, and it's just been ironic every single time. Anyway, Jaden Hopp in the 81 machine starting in 6th place. Rounding out your third row, Cody Miller in the 28 starting in 7th. Howie Briss in the 97 starting in 8th place. Matthew Fitz in 9th. Scott Shire in 10th. Nicholas Lavelle in 11th. Max Neuwirth in 12th place. Moving on down the grid, it's Cody Welch in 13th, Sean Williams in 14th, Charles Jurek in 15th, William Britton in 16th, James Coolbally in 17th, Logan Jones in 18th, Patrick Colby in 19th, Paul Mikolajczyk in 20th, Alex Anderson in 21st, Michael Keithley in 22nd, Michael Ashmore in 23rd, Steve Ulrich in 24th. Rounding out our field is going to be Keith Lee in the 61 machine, starting at the tail end in 25th. So as our drivers make their way around the track for the very first time with the pace car out in front, folks, I am really, really excited to see how this race is going to turn out. 24 drivers that we... Oh, and we already got someone down in the grass. Who is that? James Miller. Not having the best start here to his races. He's going to go backwards. I love that. That was great. James Miller, if you're watching the broadcast right now, that was impressive, buddy. I absolutely love that. That was great. The 09 machine, putting it in reverse. He's going to spend it spinning around down the back straight to get himself back up. Oh, man, our third place driver, the 09 machine. Oh, that was great. That is going to go down in history for VRL, I think. That was just absolutely fantastic to witness here. Woo! All right. But our pace car is still in tow here as drivers getting themselves ready to rip it around the Milwaukee Mile for the very first time here today. 200 laps that we're going to be completing here. And let me pull up. So it's going to be 75 to around 85 laps before we see drivers come into the pits for the very first time under green flag conditions. For fuel, that is. Again, drivers do have 5 sets of tires that they will allocate for tonight's race. And I got to say, folks, given what we've seen already from this track and from these drivers, I can't say how many green flag runs we're going to have here, but I don't think it's going to be quite what we're going to expect here tonight. But I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to jinx anything. Let's see how the race goes. Pace car down into the pits it goes as we get ready for the green flag to fly for the very first time. And there you see the marshal waving the green flag, and away we go. Tony Hilbrand's the 92 machine out in front, staying down low as he possibly can. Going to try and ward off the 70 machine of Aaron Smith. Aaron doing very good here on the exit out of turn 2, staying right on the rear end of the 92. Tony Hilbrand's working their way into turn 3 now. You see behind him Nick Nickerson, James Miller stacking up behind them. You see, looks like, who's that? The number 2 machine. Nickerson goes way wide here. Might suffer a loss of position from Benny Hogan if that number 5 machine continues on his trek here. James Miller, the 09, looking to see what he can do here coming into turn one. Man, this is what I'm excited to see, folks. We're going to see a lot of bumping and grinding and banging and scooting all around this track here today, as we're going to take a look back here just to kind of see what's happening throughout our field here as best as we possibly can. I know that there's going to be quite a lot to keep up with and watch here, but looking right now, we're looking at the number 4 machine, Scott Shire, currently sitting in 10th place with this gaggle of cars that we have here coming across the checkered line. Drivers getting these tires warmed up here as we're starting to see the fastest laps being set. Coming down the back straight here once again, we're 2 wide, looks like 3 deep. Here's a great shot down the back straight. These drivers make their way into turn 3, and really what I'd like to focus on this little section of cars here, because that seems to be where a lot of these battles are happening. And let's actually ride on board here with Nicholas Lavelle in the number 10 machine. Riding on the roof cam right now, he's battling, looks like with Max Neuwirth. Nope, incorrect. That is Cody Welch on his... No, that is Max Neuwirth, excuse me. On the inside, going down the back straight, and you can hear the input from these drivers as they make their way through these turns. They really got to be careful through these turns. It's all it takes is going just a little bit too quick, and you get on those brakes a little too hot, you're sending that car spinning around. And that's just one of many ways that drivers can make mistakes here. But so far, given the practice that I've seen earlier before we went live here, I think a lot of these drivers have probably got those kinks kind of worked out, got the jitters worked out. They're ready to go racing, and frankly, that's what we're seeing here right now as we continue our race on. Lap 5 of 200, still a lot of racing left here to do, folks. Let's check back in with our leaders at this point in time. Look at this, it's Aaron Smith in front of Tony Hilbrand's, able to get around that number 92 machine. Tony Hilbrand's now going to be fighting to retake the lead here if he chooses to do so. Again, we know that Milwaukee is going to be very treacherous on tires. It's going to eat them up rather quickly, I do have a feeling. If drivers come in early before that 75 to 85 lap window that we initially expected, I have a feeling it is going to be because of tire wear. Now, there might be some other varying factors that play into that, but we're still early in this race here, so let's not think too much about our pit stops right now, as there's still plenty of racing left here to go. Jaden Hopp, Scott Shire that we're looking at right now, and just behind them, there's a... Wow. Quite a battle happening back here. We're looking at Nicholas Lavelle right behind the 6'9" of Matthew Fitz. You can see Max Neuwirth, the 66 machine, able to get his way up into 10th place here. Nicholas Lavelle falling back down to 12th now as he tries to challenge Matthew Fitz coming down the back straight here. Very calm, very patient driving from all of these drivers right now. And that's the key thing here at a track that is so tricky like Milwaukee. It's so flat and so easy to get these cars unsettled, and we can ride on board. Let's actually do that here. Let's ride in the cockpit with eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Sean Williams, 89 machine right now. Just look at the bobbing and weaving that this wheel is doing here. I mean, we've already kind of gone over this, but I just absolutely love it. I mean, this just really proves the skill of a lot of these drivers here, being able to keep these cars straight and true in a race like this. It's just absolutely phenomenal. This track reminds me of New Hampshire. Corey Mitchell, sorry. Corey Mitchell says in the chat, and yeah, I kind of actually got to agree with you there, Corey. It almost kind of does remind you of that, just a little bit. Frankly, it almost kind of, like I said in the beginning of the broadcast, it almost reminds me of just a larger short track. Just a really big, fast, flat oval. It's great. I love it. I'm all for it. We got some battles happening just behind these drivers, and Like I said, folks, I really had a feeling that a lot of these battles were going to kind of stifle away from the front and start to work their way down the grid here. And I think that's exactly what we're starting to see here, as we're got a little bit of a pack here between, I'd say, from Nicholas Lavelle down here to looks like the 12 machine of James Coulibaly in 18th currently. Patrick Colby just behind him, separated quite a bit here, just about a second and a half. Might not sound like a lot, but definitely can take some time to get that time back, especially when drivers start to get into the draft with one another. And it looks like we have... Nope, never mind. Let's check in with our leaders at this moment. Aaron Smith, the 70 machine, doing a phenomenal job trying to keep this lead here. And given his race results from last week from Talladega, I mean, we know that Aaron's got the capability to pull off a win here. If he can keep that 70 machine green and clean all the way through, it's just a matter of how things play out for the rest of this race. I mean, there's going to be at least 3 pit stops, at least. So with that in mind, you got to wonder how strong is the strategy game of that 70 machine, as well as Tony Hilbrand's up here in second. And you can also see Nick Nickerson, the number 2 machine, slowly working his way up to these 2 drivers in 3rd place. Nick is looking like he is trying to battle it up here. I mean, wow, look at that. He is pushing that number 2 machine. Let's actually ride on board with Nick Nickerson for a minute here. I want to see what happens here as he tries to get himself back up here to the lead and just listen to the car and how he is trying to push it around here in Milwaukee. It's phenomenal. The level of attention that you have to pay as a driver. Oh man, you can see Tony Hilbrand's even getting a little sideways there coming out of turn 4. These drivers doing everything that they possibly can to stay on the absolute edge here at Milwaukee Mile. And right now, a lot of our drivers here are pretty well spread out. Looking at our track map down on your bottom right-hand screen, it might not look like they're spread out that much, but you can see it here as they come down the back straight. I mean, there's starting to be some pretty good gaps between our drivers here. And, given that we have a long race here. Oh, we already got a caution, though. William Britton involved in something here. Let's take a look. Oh, who is this? Yep, that is William Britton, the 64 machine. Having a little bit of a moment here. Let's see exactly what happens. Looks like he got loose coming out of 2. Let's see if we can get one more look at that here. That is not the angle that I was looking for. iRacing, thank you. Let's try that one final time. Yep, there it goes. Just a little loose coming out of 2. Not much you can do in that situation. Once that rear end starts to get away from you, the best thing you can do is lock up those tires and just prevent yourself from going into the wall or colliding with another driver. I mean, that's realistically the best case scenario for yourself in that situation. But look at this. Drivers coming down into pit lane and gonna get some possibly tires. I'm not seeing anyone grabbed going up on the jacks. Nope, I think we're just no, look at this. Tony Hilbrand's. Okay, yeah, there is a couple drivers grabbing tires here already. All right, that's pretty interesting. It looked like some of them might not have. Actually, yeah, that is correct. There is a couple that have not taken tires here, it looks like. It looks like James Miller and Alex Anderson, but I'm not sure what's going on there with Alex Anderson. He's showing that he was only in there for 12 seconds. So I'm a little confused by that one. But either way, either how, I think James Miller, the 09 machine, definitely only came in to get that fuel. So as we follow around with the pace car in tow once again and get ourselves ready for the next stint, if you will, as we've already come down the come down into the pits, and some drivers have, well, a good chunk of our drivers here have already taken a set of tires here out of the 5 that they are allocated for tonight's race. So I'm not exactly certain how that's going to play out for the rest of this race here, as we're only on lap 19 of 200. I mean, I can only imagine. Oh, man. Really, the only question for me at this point is the tire wear really that tremendous? Is it really that bad? To the point that these guys feel the need that they need to grab a fresh set, or maybe they're just being safe. I think that's probably the safest assumption that we can make here. But either way, that's going to be tapping into our tire reserves for the drivers here as we go green flag once again. Aaron Smith with an absolutely incredible, wow. He just launched that 70 machine away from the rest of the field here. Very good work for Aaron Smith. He's going to go down the back straight now, but look at this battle for second place. Patrick Colby in the lead with Sean Williams in third place. Oh, we're going 3 wide, going into turn 3. Oh, keep it together, keep it together. Man, oh man. James Miller here, we can see the 09 machine. I wish we had some closer camera angles. I guess our camera crew didn't quite have the preparation time they needed, or enough cameras, one or the other. Anyway, anyhow, looking at Patrick Colby as well as James Miller, now duking it out, going down the back straight here. Man, look at that gap between Aaron Smith and Tony Hilbrand's. Tony Hilbrand's getting himself back up into second place now. Oh, man, look at this. 2 wide, almost 4 deep, and it looks like almost 3 wide there for a moment, coming down the front straight out of turn 4. Looking at Scott Shire right now, you see him down on the inside. He's got Cody Welch in the 85 machine just behind him, sitting in 10th place. Few drivers 3 wide just behind them. All of these guys doing everything that they can. Look at these guys going 3 wide down here. I absolutely love that. You can see Michael Keithley, Charles Jurek, Benny Hogan. Oh, no, who is that? Alex Anderson. Little bit of a moment here for the number 1 machine, or excuse me, the 67. But it says the number 1. Okay, anyway, anyhow, the number 1 machine of Alex Anderson. It says 67 on my timing and scoring, but either way. He's going to have a little bit of a moment there. I think it was only himself involved in this one. Let's take a look at our replay. Here he is, getting a little loose, coming out of 4. Everyone doing a great job avoiding that number 1 machine as he goes sideways, and luckily not getting into any walls, any other drivers. It's a fairly clean incident for the number 1/67. Anyway, Alex Anderson going to come out of that one. No harm, no foul. But ultimately going to have to start at the tail end of the field now, starting in 24th here in lap 24 of 200. It's a long race left to go here, folks, and I don't think that any of these drivers really want to see this happen over and over again. But I think for some drivers, you know, it's going to be one of those things where you got to get those jitters worked out. So we're going to see Aaron Smith, Tony Hill. Ooh, no. Aaron Smith only comes down into the pits, and I had a feeling that was going to happen as we saw the rest of the field making their way last time around, and Aaron Smith probably knows that he does not have the tires to keep up with Tony Hilbrand's, who did take advantage of that yellow flag pit stop last time around. So this time, once we go back to green flag, which won't be much longer here, it'll be Tony Hilbrand's and Howie Briss starting out in first and second place. As the 70 machine has made his way back out onto track here, just coming out of pit lane there, you see, coming out onto the back straight now. He's going to stack up here in 19th, it looks like, at this moment. So he's going to have quite the field to work through to get back up here to the lead. If he chooses to do so. Well, he's obviously going to do that. I mean, it's just a matter of how long is it going to take Aaron Smith to be able to do so. And I got to hand it to Aaron. You know, he has had an incredible season thus far. So, as this is our last time with a pace car in tow, let's take a look real quickly at our point standings. Looking at the very tippy top of our point standings, it is Howie Briss with 1,552 points leading this championship. Benny Hogan in second with 96 points just behind Howie Briss. Jaden Hopp in third, 103 points behind our leader. Sean Williams in fourth, tied with Jaden Hopp at the moment. Also going to be the same, 103 points behind our leader. And Tony Hilbrand's in fifth. But we are about to go back to green flag racing here. As we work our way out of turn 4. Our pace car is going to make that quick dive down into pit lane. And here we go. The green flag is back out here at the Milwaukee Mile. It's Tony Hilbrand's now in the lead. Going to have an opportunity to lead some laps. Let's see how this field responds this time around on this restart and see where we really start to shake things up. As per usual, seeing a lot of action happening in kind of the midfield and really towards the back. We're looking at the 28 of Cody Miller just on the outside of the 66 of Max Neuwirth. Gonna fall back into 10th place currently. Cody Miller here trying to do all that he can in that 28 machine. To try and get himself up this grid as much as he possibly can. But let's check in with Aaron Smith, the driver who decided to come down into the pits this last time around. Now going to have to work his way through this grid back up to the front to compete for the lead here. Aaron Smith currently sitting in 16th at this point in time, following behind Charles Jurek. So we still got quite a bit of time before we see that 70 machine back up here in the front, but won't take him very long, I have a feeling. We're looking at Sean Williams now, duking it out here with Cody Miller in the 28 machine. Sean Williams, the 89, coming out of turn 2, down the back straight here. Both of these drivers here doing fairly well. Really, all of these drivers are doing a phenomenal job. I mean, given just how slick and how flat that this track is and how difficult it really is to keep these cars on the track, it's just impressive what all these drivers are doing here. But we're 3 wide down the front straight across the checkered line, going into turn 1. Look at them stacking up here as they work their way into 1, going to come out of 2, and down the back straight here. Charles Jurek just in the middle of a sandwich between Aaron Smith as well as Michael Keithley. William Britton looks like to have a little bit of an issue here. Coming out of turn 2, down the back straight, but doesn't bring out the caution. It's a single car incident. Checking back in with the action here, Scott Shire, the number 4 machine, going to be battling with Max Neuwirth and Nicholas Lavelle in front of him. Currently, the 10 machine holding on to 6th place. I'm loving this action here. Charles Jurek, Sean Williams, as well as Michael Keithley, the 53 machine. Michael here looking to, oh man, it looks like he wants to go 3 wide here. And really, Michael Keithley, he's, oh no, who is this? The 3 machine, Logan Jones, gets himself loose out on the back, on the front straight, excuse me. Quickly brings it down into pit lane. That's going to bring out our caution here. Oh my, oh my. So our third caution at lap 32 of 200. Let's take a look at what happened here with Logan Jones. You can see the 3 machine. Oh, a little bit of a wobble there, and there it goes. The rear end starting to get away from him, and nothing he can do other than just lock up those tires, which you saw there. But ultimately deciding to bring it down into pit lane. And that is going to be possibly the end of the number 3's night here. But it does not appear to be so, as he's back out on track. Looks to be that he just wanted to take it down into the pits and get himself a fresh restart. So, good to see that we still have quite the healthy field of drivers here. The only driver to have dropped out of the race so far would be Keith Lee in the 61 machine, leaving the race, it looks like lap 12. Not certain what for at this point in time. I'm not sure if he was involved in an incident or if there was just another issue outside of iRacing that he had to address. Anyway, as we continue on with our race here, Tony Hilbrand's, I gotta say, man, this is absolutely gotta be the night here for the number 92 machine of Tony Hilbrand's, as right now, currently, Tony Hilbrand's, again, sitting in 5th place on the championship standings. He is still got a little bit of ways to catch up to our current championship leader, Howie Briss, who currently sits at 1,552 points. Tony Hilbrand's 1,441. Now, if Tony Hilbrand's comes away with a win here tonight, I'm not exactly sure how much that's going to really help him in this case, as now we are seeing Howie Briss, the 97 machine, our current championship leader, in 2nd place here on this restart. So either one of these drivers here are looking pretty solid here in this race. Tony Hilbrand's already looking like he wants to come home with a win tonight. You can see Aaron Smith, the 70 machine, in 12th place here on this restart. And really for Aaron Smith, this is only going to help him, as he is just a phenomenal driver behind the wheel of that 70 machine, and he's shown time and time again that he is more than capable of getting himself up to the front and competing in the front here. Tony Hilbrand's no exception there. Howie Briss, same thing. James Miller, Cody Welch. I mean, I could go on. There was a lot of drivers here that are very, very competitive, very strong at what they do here, and really just want to come home with a win week after week, and that's just what I love to see. So it looks to be that yes it is, pace car is ducking down into the pits. We are going to go green flag here once again, and Tony Hilbrand's with that jump here, as he's done on the times that he's been able to lead the race here. Look at Howie Briss. I'm really going to be paying attention to the 97 machine right now. Again, if as I just mentioned, Howie Briss, our current championship leader, going to be looking to try and put himself even further and secure that spot even more so after tonight's race, but he has to get himself into the lead in order to do so. And Tony Hilbrand's right now, he is starting to drive away from that 97 of Howie Briss. But this flat track, man, it's so tough. It is so tough. We're looking at Cody Miller right now in the 28 machine, battling with Benny Hogan coming down the back straight. I just love that shot. That's a great one. So it's lap 37 of 200, and a lot of this field here. Oh, man, oh, man. Everyone is just pushing and pushing. Let's ride on board with the roof camera of Aaron Smith in that 70 machine. You can see he's on the outside right now of Charles Jurek in the 76, battling for 11th place. Charles down on the inside there, trying to get the best run. Oh, man, Aaron Smith fighting the 70 as he tried to get on the gas there a little bit too early. The rear end, he felt that rear end start to get away from him. Corrected it early before it could get away from him. And luckily, he's going to be back up here duking it out now with Cody Miller and Charles Jurek. They might take, nope, not going to take it 3 wide this time around, but I just absolutely love Aaron Smith right now, just working his way up through this field, charging as much as he can. But let's take a look. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Okay, so right as I was going to take a look at our fan favorite, Cody Welch in the 85 machine, we had a little bit of a moment here with Nick Nickerson, the number 2 driver. Going to be having bringing out the caution here. Not certain what for. Ooh, locking up the tires, getting a little bit of a smack job from the rear end. Oh, man, who is that? The 64 machine? William Britton getting involved in that one. And I believe that was also, I think, Logan Jones or Jaden Hopp. Yeah, that was Jaden Hopp that definitely got involved in that one. Our fourth caution of the night. Man, that is got to be rough for these drivers. I mean, I really feel for these drivers, too, you know, having a good green flag run there for a minute and then having it just kind of taken away from you like that. It's can be exhausting mentally. You know, as fun as it can be for some drivers, it definitely, when you're just doing it over and over and over again, you start to get a little stir crazy, if you will, in the seat of that car. But right now, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for these drivers to really, because, I mean, here's the thing. The incidents that we've seen aren't really anything that the drivers really did wrong. It's just simple mistakes. That's all it is. And this track is just, it's like opening up a can of worms. I mean, you're just asking for a lot of very difficult racing here at this track with these cars. It's incredible that we haven't seen any. Nope. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go there, because if I say the W or the C word, I don't know. No, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the B one come out, if you know what I mean. Yeah, let's avoid that. I want to see some green flag racing for these drivers. I want to see some great competition that we have continued to see here time and time again. And I want to take a little bit of a time out here to take notice that Tony Hilbrand just opted to come down into the pits this caution here, and he is going to be back in 19th. So remember how I was saying at the beginning of the broadcast that pit strategy is going to be very interesting, and I think that's exactly what we are seeing being played out here, as these drivers, all of them, spread out all over the place. I really wish that I could see in my timing and scoring how many laps a driver has led. iRacing, get on that. Actually, not iRacing, that would be SDK. So, SDK, get on that, please. Thank you, if you're watching. Thank you. Anyway, I really wish I knew how many laps these guys were leading, because I know Aaron Smith, he's led plenty of laps. Tony Hilbrand, he's led plenty of laps. Howie Briss, he's going to lead some laps now. I mean, it's tough to say, folks. It's going to be really, really tough to say. Corey Mitchell asking, is Cody Welch okay? He is fantastic. Let me tell you, he is third place right now, just behind Howie Briss and James Miller. But there is a little bit of a caveat with that, as all of these drivers here between first place all the way down to, it looks like, 10th place, all came in to pit road lap 17 as the pace car dives down into the pits. So, are we going to see some drivers come down into pit road here before too long? Let's find out. As we work our way into turn one, Howie Briss, our current championship leader, trying to get himself away from this field here and look behind. All the way back into 10th place, it's Aaron Smith, trying to weave off all of these drivers behind him and continue to charge his way back up towards the front. The 28 of Cody Miller, trying to stay on the rear end of that 70 machine, and man, I just love the battles that we're seeing out on track right now. It is just absolutely phenomenal. A little bit of a weird camera glitch there, but Alex Anderson, the 67 machine, in 12th place right now. Excuse me, the one machine, I forgot we already had this discussion. The one machine on top of Matthew Fitz right now, going into turn 3. Almost right on the door of that 6'9 machine. Wow. Wow. You know, it kind of almost makes me wonder what some of these drivers are possibly thinking, as you know, you start to see the driver in front of you start to get a little loose, and you wonder, you know, how close am I to the guy on my inside again? You know, I don't know. It's just, to me, it just seems very sketchy how close some of these guys are getting to one another, knowing how unstable that these cars can be sometimes. So, but so far, looks like these drivers are, they're giving it the beans, folks. They are doing everything that they possibly can here. But let's check back in with our race leaders. Howie Briss, all the way out in front, and look at that, Cody Welch, the fan favorite, the 85 machine, here in second place, and he's got quite the gap between himself and third place driver James Miller, Nicholas Lavelle. We're going to look here for this battle for third place. This is absolutely thrilling. We got Scott Shire, Nicholas Lavelle, James Miller, Benny Hogan. And look at that, Aaron Smith also charging his way up here into this pack, forming just behind the third place driver of James Miller. The 09 machine, who we saw, you know, and James, if you were wondering if I forgot already, I didn't. James having that little bit of a mishap on the back straight after for the formation lap. That was great. I absolutely love that. That will forever go in the memory banks as the greatest start to any race I have ever called ever. So, well, we'll see. It currently holds that title, but let's hope that we see some more incredible action like that, or even something better. But as we continue on with this race, I mean, man, this is tough to say. This is a tough call to make as far as when we're going to see, if we're going to see any drivers make their way down into the pits under green flag conditions. And if that happens, that could shake things up here rather drastically. As I mean, the drivers that have come into the pits a few laps before, just about 10 laps ago, that's going to include Tony Hillbrands, Nick Nickerson, looks like Patrick Colby, William Britton, and Michael Ashmore. Those drivers obviously going to be able to stay out quite a bit longer than the rest of our field here, and might be able to take advantage of that difference to be able to secure themselves a spot in the lead. We'll have to just wait and see. I mean, this race, really, it's uncertain who is going to come across the line for the win here tonight. And frankly, I couldn't even guess. I really couldn't. Between Howie Briss, between Aaron Smith, Tony Hillbrands, Cody Welch, I don't even know where to begin on that one. So Aaron Smith right now working his way, sitting in 7th place currently, you know. Whoa, what's going on? Someone's having a little bit of a moment here. Michael Keithley came down into the pits, but okay, I think that's exactly what that was. All right, so, yep, here he goes. Loose out of 4. Slides it across the entry into the pit lane there. Gets himself back onto the track here. Well, really never left the track. He was just got himself a little cockeyed on the track and had to recenter himself. But that, unfortunately, is going to bring out the caution here once again. Our 5th caution. Wow. 4th one must have gone by really fast. Wow, okay, anyway. 5th caution that we are on here. 53 laps of 200 that we have completed for this race here today. So just over a quarter of the way through our race already, and man, this has seen some very, very interesting action here tonight. And here we go. Pit stops are going to be in cycle here. Benny Hogan, he's going to say, nope, I'm going to stay out. Interesting choice. Very interesting choice there for the number 5 machine of Benny Hogan. Opting not to come into the pits and get a fresh set of tires, get fueled up if he needed to. He's gonna say, nope, I want to lead some laps. I want to have fun. I respect that. I fully respect that. As you can see, all the drivers getting up on their lifts, getting those tires changed out quickly and back out onto track as quickly as they possibly can here. Just a great view of all the drivers making their way out of their pit stalls. So, like I said, folks, you know, caution, well, not cautions necessarily, but pit stops going to change how this race progresses significantly. And I mean, we've already seen, let's see here, looks like we've seen, all right, yeah, so we've seen, maximum we've seen is 5 pit stops. Michael Ashmore coming in a little bit more times, and not exactly sure what for. He might be getting some damage worked out, unsure what exactly for there, but most of our field here has come in either 2 or 3 times, and with the exception of Benny Hogan here, who the only driver still to be on the same set of tires from our first caution that we saw come out on lap 17. So, Benny Hogan, after finishing last week in 7th place at Talladega, he's going to have an opportunity here to lead some laps. And currently, Benny Hogan currently sitting in 2nd place in the championship standings. I mean, this is a great opportunity for Benny to be able to possibly, maybe, just maybe, bump himself into that lead spot if he can pull off a win here tonight. Or even just beat out Howie Briss. I'm not exactly certain. Let's see here. So, Aaron Smith last week, he received a total of 185 points for that race. Jaden Hopp, 180. Cody Miller, 177 for their positions, respectively, from 1st to 3rd. Benny Hogan, let's see here, came home with 151 points in 7th place. Now, I'm not exactly a math wizard, but I have a feeling that if Benny Hogan is able to place himself well above that of Howie Briss here, he might be able to take over the championship here. Race 12 of the season, and it's still a battle for our championship, and I just absolutely love to see it. And really, it hasn't really even started to spice up yet. We have still a long season to go. And I think our pace car is making its way down into the pits. And the green flag is out here once again. Benny Hogan, the number 5 machine, taking the lead here. Working his way into 1. Going out onto the back straight here. We can see a little bit of side-by-side action just behind him. Aaron Smith, the 70 machine, duking it out here with Cody Welch in the 85. Both Aaron Smith, Cody Welch, going to be on the same set of tires here as both of these drivers opted to come in. And still, you can see now Benny Hogan starting to drop down this field as he starts to struggle with those sets of tires that are currently on that number 5 machine. But here is a good point to make about the strategy that Benny Hogan is currently making. Here's the thing. Benny Hogan definitely knows that his tires are shot. Well, maybe not shot, but he knows that he is going to have to come into the pits to get a new set. He knows that he's not going to be able to really compete with any of the drivers that are going through their tires and just depleting the sets that they have in their pit stalls. You got to remember, we only have 5 total sets to work with in this race. We've already seen drivers use at least two sets of tires for this race. Now, we're not even, like I said, we're not even we're just over a quarter of the way through this race here. And when you're talking, drivers have already almost gone through halfway of their tires for this race, and you're looking at someone like Benny Hogan who still has 4 sets. I don't know, folks. That smells like a pretty good strategy to me up here in the booth. I don't know. I think Benny Hogan has got a trick up his sleeve that is yet to be revealed, and I think that is I think I might have just figured it out. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm not a wizard. I'm not a mind reader, but I have a feeling that Benny Hogan here is prepared for what's to come. But taking a look up here in the front, we have a battle for the lead. As we come down the back straight here, Howie Briss, James Miller, Tony Hillbrand's all 1, 2, and 3. You can see James Miller, the 09 machine, gonna be starting to close in on the 97 as we come out of turn 4 down the front straight. Hillbrand's there, a little bit of a wall tap it looks like. I'm not sure if that was a wall tap or what. It definitely looked like one. But nothing too serious, none otherwise. As looks like Cody Welch, the 85 machine, he is driving the wheels off of this 85. Trying to get himself stacked back up here with the top 3 and be able to compete. But look at James Miller. He is driving down the 97 of Howie Briss as we ride onto the roof camera of the 09 machine. Just an absolutely fantastic view here as we come down the back straight, going into turn 3. You can see James Miller just absolutely sending it into the turn. Howie Briss there, oh man. You can see just how loose these cars really are here at the Milwaukee Mile. It is tricky, folks. Aaron Smith down on the inside of Scott Shire. He's gonna work his way up into 5th place here. Pushing Shire back into 6th place now. We work our way down the back straight here once again, and a lot of our drivers here all falling, looks like single file for the most part, with the exception of a few drivers here and there. But Jaden Hopp, the 81 machine, he looks to be trying to make a move here on Michael Keithley, it looks like. Oh, no, that was Jaden Hopp on Max Newirth. Excuse me. So a lot of stable racing so far as we're on lap 65 of 200. Now, I want to keep an eye on Benny Hogan here. I really, really do. I want to see what happens for this number 5 machine. I have a feeling that Benny Hogan here he's onto something. He is definitely onto something here. Being on the oldest set of tires currently, not the fastest by any means, but still has the most resources available to him to be as fast as he possibly needs to be throughout this race here. Now, there could very well be a scenario towards the end of the race where Benny Hogan is able to come down into the pits and get a fresh set of tires while no one else is. Imagine that. That would be huge for Benny Hogan here. And sitting in 2nd place in the championship standings right now, I mean, you got to have something. You got to have something waiting for to show everyone to pull out the hat. It's going to be great to see. I am excited to see what Benny Hogan has in store, if he's got anything in store. But I have a feeling that that we're gonna see that number 5 machine up here in the front before too long. But Aaron Smith has worked his way up into 5th place, as we saw just a little bit ago, pushing Scott Shire, excuse me, down into 6th place. And Aaron Smith here still trying to push his way up into this top 3 now, as he's currently right behind the 92 of Tony Hillbrand's, the driver that we have seen also leading some laps here. Hillbrand's on the outside across the checkered line. It brings us lap 69 of 200. Nice. So Aaron Smith able to successfully able to work his way around the 92 of Tony Hillbrand's, coming out of turn 2 and down the back straight here. So it really didn't look like Tony was putting up too much of a fight there either to hold that spot. It kind of seems like Tony is in a position where he wants to conserve tires, maybe conserve fuel. Not exactly too certain. Again, we've seen a plethora of drivers already dipping in to their tire reserves. Again, 5 sets of tires that they're able to use. Most drivers here have taken 2 sets already. with the exception of Benny Hogan, who's only taken 1. But as we continue to look back here in 10th place, Paul Mikolajczyk, the 38 machine, holding off Alex Anderson in that 1 car. Following behind Nicholas Lavelle in the number 10 as they work their way into turn 2 and out onto the back straight. And interestingly enough here, Paul Mikolajczyk as well as Alex Anderson and, believe it or not, Cody Welch all the way up here in 3rd place. All of them having equally moved up the same number of positions, 10 spots throughout their race here today. So fantastic work from all of these drivers here tonight. But look at this, Charles Jurek. A little bit of an incident here down the front straight. He spins it around, gets himself back in the right direction. Let's see exactly what happened here for the number 76 of Charles. I'm suspecting it's going to be more or less the same of what we've seen here all night. There it goes, the rear end snapping away from the rear end of Charles Jurek's 76 machine here. And a lot of the times, folks, what happens, how that happens, if you're not aware, drivers just getting on the gas a little bit too hot, a little bit too soon. It's a real game of finesse. You really have to be easy on everything, on your brakes, on your gas, but still be fast. It's a very fine game of balance. Very tricky to get right, but once you do, man, you are just an absolute animal out on track. But as we have a little bit of a moment here with the pace car in tow, we're going to take a quick commercial break up here in the booth, and when we come back, we will have more coverage of the Milwaukee 200 here for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and we will be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. Welcome back as we get ready to see the pace car go down into the pits. Hopefully, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it. We already know how this could go, so I don't want to jinx it any further. As our pace car gets ready to dive down into the pits. No, not this time around. Okay, so it's gonna be one more time around. Alrighty. Anyhow, so Howie Briss here, James Miller going to be 1 and 2 on this restart. Cody Welch, Aaron Smith going to be 3rd and 4th in your 2nd row there, with Scott Shire and Sean Williams in your 3rd row. So, we've got all of the drivers that we have seen competing. Well, with the exception of Tony Hillbrands, who currently sits in 16th at this point in time. We've got some strong drivers up here, and I have a feeling that as this race goes on, it's only going to get even more and more just a fight for the lead. It's going to be absolutely thrilling to watch as we get ready for the pace car to make its way down into pit lane. And there it goes. The green flag will fly. The 97 machine right on the gas. James Miller responds as well. Very good work there. Cody Welch going on the inside of James Miller in the 09 machine. Aaron Smith trying to weasel his way into this top 3 pack here. Going down the back straight, you can see Scott Shire as well, weaving his way behind these drivers, stacking up in front of him. Cody Welch, James Miller going to be duking it out here side by side. Welch has the advantage on the bottom line here as we come down the back straight. Aaron Smith, he's able to work his way into 3rd place, pushing James Miller down into 4th now. As we work our way back into turn 1, Aaron Smith looking down on the inside of Cody Welch here. Is Welch going to respond with any kind of defense here? Or is he going to be able to? I mean, really, this track is so tricky that you really got to be careful. It's really, really tough and so easy to let your car get away from you. It takes just a moment. Welch on the outside here, going into turn 1. Aaron Smith, there it is. We've seen Aaron Smith. He is strong here tonight at Milwaukee, and he's been consistent with these passes time after time again. He's been able to work that bottom line and make it work for him. And so far, that 70 machine is looking to be incredibly strong here. Look at James Miller, able to work his way back up into 3rd here, pushing Cody Welch into 4th. They're still duking it out relatively. Nope, never mind. Going into turn 1. Welch is going to fall back into that 4th place spot here. But there's still a long race left to go. 120 laps before we see the checkered flag here tonight. Oh, man. Drivers are getting a little rowdy back here. As we make our way down the front straight here. Relatively single file for the most part, but as we go into the turns, that's when really these drivers start to move around and shake things up here. As I think really it's so tough. Oh, a little bit of contact there, possibly between Benny Hogan, Max Neuwirth. I think they touched doors there for just a moment. Max Neuwirth getting himself collected back together. Oh man, you can see drivers just fighting these cars here. And a lot of them, they're not even fighting old tires at this point now. A lot of our field here came down into the pits lap 53 or 73, that last caution that we saw. But as we continue on here, looking at Michael Keithley, the 53 machine, continuing to battle on here in 13th place. Going 3 wide across the checkered line. What a great view. As the clouds start to settle over the track. And oh no, we got the number 1 machine, Alex Anderson. He goes sideways, collides into, who was that? Charles Jurek? Oh no. So let's take a look at our replay going into turn 1. You can see Benny Hogan, the number 5 machine, just taps the rear end of Alex Anderson. Oh man, oh man. I couldn't see who that was. It looks like just in front of him, possibly. I couldn't tell who that was. The 12 machine? James Coulibaly? No, that's definitely not right. Anyway, anyhow, that is not what we want to see here for Alex Anderson. Man, tough break for the number 1 machine here tonight. Definitely not what Alex is probably hoping for here. And that's going to push him down into 22nd at this point in the race. And looking right now, we still have most of our field out on track at this moment. 23 drivers out of the 25 that started here tonight. So, despite all the chaos on track, it really hasn't affected a whole lot of our field here. I mean, we've seen some pretty clean incidents, to say the least. I mean, I think this is actually one of the first ones that we've really seen some real contact out of, seeing drivers really get into one another. If I recall correctly, most of our cautions here tonight have been single car incidents. If not, maybe someone just bumped into someone else. It really hasn't been a lot of bumping and grinding between our field here. So really surprised to see how many drivers that we have still out on track. I mean, I love to see it. It's great to have our field here as large as it is for this race. It's absolutely incredible. It's leading to some incredible racing out on track. But enough of that. Let's talk about the fact that we have Howie Briss, Aaron Smith, and Cody Welch all in our top 3 right now. That is just absolutely incredible. Cody Welch, he's got a desire to win here. Corey Mitchell has said it already, but I think Cody has definitely got an appetite to win, and I think he is eager to get himself up on that podium tonight and take home a win. But another couple interesting drivers that we have stacked up in our field, Tony Hilbrands and Benny Hogan, both 6th and 7th respectively. I mean, these two drivers here as well could win this race just as well as our drivers up here in front. So I don't know, folks. This race is definitely stacking up to be quite the exciting one, to say the least. I mean, this is going to be an intense battle here, and between a lot of our championship leaders at this point in time, as far as the top 5, we have Howie Briss, we got Benny Hogan, we got Sean Williams, Tony Hilbrands. It's incredible. The battles that we have up here in this race as well as in the championship, they are just, and we're only just getting started. This is race number 12 at this point in time, and there is still a long season left to go. So as the lights are off on the pace car, this will be the last time before we see that pace car dive down into the pits here. Working our way into turn 3, and once we come out of turn 4, it'll be green flag racing here once again at the Milwaukee Mile. There it is, the pace car making its way down into the pits. The green flag will fly. Howie Briss with the jump on the lead here. Doing great work here. We're going to check. Looking here. Oh, man. Just watching these drivers all get a little loose coming into turn 1 and 2. It always just kind of makes you a little bit nervous every time. But Sean Williams here, the 89 machine, pushing. Aaron Smith in that 70 here for 3rd place. Our top 5 essentially almost stacked up single file, but Sean Williams, Tony Hilbrands side by side there for just a moment. Cody Welch worked his way up into 2nd, Aaron Smith into 3rd now. As we come down the back straight, and once we cross the checkered line, it'll be lap 90 of 200 here tonight. Pretty calm, stable action up here towards the front of the field. Let's check in with some of our drivers back here who really are starting to spice things up for themselves as we have continued to see practically all race. We're looking at Jaden Hopp in the 81 machine right now. alongside Matthew Fitz, the 6'9". Down on the inside, coming out of turn 4, down the front straight here. Matthew Fitz going to drop up top. Well, go up top, rather, not drop up top. That's a weird way to say that. But continuing to battle side by side here with a lot of our field. You can see the 81 machine as well, trying to stay down on the inside of Matthew Fitz here. The low line, definitely the most favored here tonight. Don't want to catch yourself on the outside. It really only seems like there's that bottom groove that you have to work with in these turns, which may also be a lot of the reason why we've seen some of our drivers get a little loose. Cody Welch there. Man, that's exactly what I mean there, folks. You know, that middle to high line, once you're in these turns, because there's no banking, it's really tough to keep these cars going. You can see the rear ends wanting to get away from them very, very easily. It's incredible that these drivers are able to keep it together like this. So for a moment here, let's ride on board from the roll bar of Scott Shire in the number 4 machine, and let's have a listen to the sights and sounds here at Milwaukee Mile. A lot of really great driving that we've seen from all of our field here tonight, and really that's kind of one of the things that I was really interested to see going into tonight's race. You know, as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, drivers really sliding all over the place during practice. It was just incredible watching some of these drivers just absolutely eat the wall in some of these turns. It was a little bit of good fun before we got the broadcast started here tonight. But currently, as our action continues to unfold, a lot of our field here single file most of the way through. We're looking at Scott Shire in that number 4 machine, currently behind Cody Welch, battling for that 4th place spot. But look at this, Benny Hogan, the number 5 machine, in 6th place, currently starting to get himself closer and closer to being able to make this pass here around Scott Shire if Scott is able to give him the room. Well, not able, but if Benny here is going to be able to find the room here as he comes down the back straight going into turn 3. Not quite going to be able to make it work this time around, but he definitely sees it and he wants to take that opportunity when he can. As we look back here in 14th, Charles Jurek, Michael Keithley, James Coulibaly, all in a nice little package here. Michael Keithley getting very close to the bumper there of James Coulibaly. Looked like it might have been almost a little bit of contact there between those two drivers. So we're going to ride on board of the roof camera here with Michael Keithley. You can see the Verizon sponsored 12 machine of James Coulibaly just in front. Excuse me. Michael Keithley here, he's trying to tell the 12 of James Coulibaly to get out of my swamp, as indicated by the Shrek paint scheme on that 53 machine. I had to make that joke at some point, folks. You know it. Anyway, Howie Briss here. Tony Hilbrand's actually stacked up here 1 and 2, And Hilbrand's, I'm liking what I'm seeing here for the 92 machine. He is moving and grooving here. He's trying to keep himself up with Howie Briss. Trying to do all he can to stay on the bumper as close as he possibly can here. Maybe even trying to set up a pass. Because he is right on the tail. He is close. Let's actually ride on board here for just a moment with Tony. And I just want to appreciate this battle here for the lead. I mean, I know it's only these two drivers, but it's just absolutely phenomenal watching these two guys just push these two cars around this track. Man, look at this. Tony Hilbrand's. That was such a good entry there into 3, out of 4, down the front straight. Going into turn 1. Is he going to be able to make this pass here this time around? He is. Tony Hilbrand's, the 92 machine, leading some more laps here for the Milwaukee 200. Fantastic work here from Tony. Now Howie Briss, let's see what he's going to do to respond, if at all. As we have just crossed the halfway mark in tonight's race. Right now as we continue to look. Oh, James Coulibaly not having a great moment here. That Verizon machine. Oh, man, Michael Keithley looks also to be possibly involved in that one. Let's take a look here. Down the front straight, heading into turn 1. You can see Michael Keithley. Man, hot going into turn 1. Not much he could do to prevent himself from colliding into the rear end of James Coulibaly there. Luckily for both drivers, it doesn't look like that either one of them suffered too much damage there and are both able to keep it out on track and continue their race here. So, for Tony Hilbrand's, this is an opportunity to lead some more laps. He's going to have to fight off Howie Briss, Aaron Smith, Benny Hogan, Cody Welch. I mean, oh my gosh, folks. This is... I couldn't ask for a better top 5 here. Oh, okay. All right. Well, this just completely changed everything. Tony Hilbrand's, Paul Mikolajczyk. That's a driver making his way, getting himself a lap around. That's the 09 machine of James Miller. Okay. All right. I respect it. So we got some pit stops happening right now. And like I said, folks, these are what's going to shake things up time after time again. I mean, oh, man, look at the field making their way as quickly as possible out of the pits. Just a great view. But, man, oh, man, our 8th caution here tonight, as we're on lap 105 of 200. Phenomenal racing that we have had here tonight, and frankly, folks, I am excited to see how the rest of this carries on here. So, our new top 3 right now is going to be Tony Hilbrand's, Paul Mikolajczyk, William Britton in our top 3, James Coulibaly in 4th, Howie Briss in 5th, Aaron Smith in 6th. Wow, okay, this is going to really shake things up here quite significantly. And, I mean, given that we're just over the halfway marker in this race, I can't imagine that it's going to affect the field, well, too much here. I mean, there's still quite a bit of racing left to do here tonight. And just given how things have gone already, it's going to be a tricky final 92 laps. 93 it looks like, actually, that we have left. All the way until the end. I mean, this is just... Whew, this has been incredible. Through and through. I really couldn't ask for a better race here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. This has been thrilling to watch, and I hope everyone at home is enjoying the action. If you have been, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. And thank you all for tuning in, as always. It's great to have an audience here that supports these drivers as well as the league, and as well as myself up here in the booth and everyone else at Team Goon Squad who contributes to putting these broadcasts together, as well as all of our league-sponsored events and so on and so forth. But with all of that in mind here, we're going to see the pace car dive down into pit road, and there it goes. And the green flag will fly once again here at Milwaukee. Tony Hilbrand's with the lead, and with a whole shuffle of new drivers up here in the field. Oh man, this is going to get exciting here, folks, really, really fast. Looking at Aaron Smith in the 70 machine right now as we're coming down the back straight, looking at what this field is going to do here, working our way into turn 3. Scott Shire down on the inside of the 70 of Aaron Smith here. You can see just how many drivers here on that outside line, you know, going through these turns. It really, really has an impact on their position. I mean, if you're on that outside line and there's a string of drivers down on your inside, you might as well just say goodbye to your position. But even as I say that, there are a couple drivers out here that have shown that they are more than capable of sticking it on that outside line and making it work for them. You can see there the 64 machine of William Britton. Oh man, right as I say that, it looks like he had a little bit of a moment there, almost got loose. He's dropping back down the field all the way to 15th now. A rather drastic drop for William Britton here. So we continue to look on with Cody Miller in the 28 machine, currently sitting in 11th place. Let's check back in up front here. Paul Mikolajczyk duking it out with Aaron Smith. Paul Mikolajczyk, also known as the Pierogi Bandit here, going to be battling up here in the top 5, working his way into turn 1 here. And here's a great example of what I was just talking about, folks. I mean, Paul not finding himself in the great position, in the greatest of spots here going into turn 1 and 2. Drops down a couple spots, but get himself back on that line, reset himself. He might be able to regain those positions, but it's really tough here, folks. I mean, this track is unforgiving in almost every sense. Aaron Smith up here in 3rd place. Aaron, he is desperate. Well, I don't want to say desperate, but he is definitely itching to get himself back up here into the lead and take that 1st place spot here. I mean, carrying a win over from Talladega here at Milwaukee Mile. I mean, that's probably, if Aaron Smith comes home with a win tonight and he doesn't go out and buy a lottery ticket, someone needs to call this man and tell him he's making a mistake. Okay, I'm only kidding. Don't actually do that. But Aaron Smith here, he's having an incredible run here these past few races, and sitting in 2nd place right now, just over the halfway mark in this race. It's, oh no, Welch. Oh no. Okay, we gotta back this up here, folks. We gotta see what just happened here for Cody Welch. Oh, he just gets into the back end. It looks like I think that's Tony Hilbrand's locking up those tires, and that's going to drop him down the field here to 14th at this point in time. But luckily, didn't bring out the caution. Well, I guess lucky, depending on who you are in the race right now. But Yeah, Cody there definitely, whoo, not what he wanted to see there, and he is going to have to fight extremely hard to get himself back up to where he was, but I don't think it will take him very long. Cody is a phenomenal driver here in this series, and he's continued to really push this race, so I'm not sure how long he's going to stay down there in that 13th place spot. Already up to 11th, right as I say that, so quickly moving himself back up this grid here. We're looking at Sean Williams as well as James Miller duking it out for 5th place right now. As they work their way into turn 1, Nicholas Lavelle up here into 4th place. Oh man, I love how loose these cars look out on track. I mean, it just, like I said before, folks, this is really a true test of our drivers' skills here tonight. You know, if you are able to keep a car like this clean and steady throughout an entire 200 laps here at the Milwaukee Mile, impressive. Absolutely impressive. It takes a lot of skill to make that work. But still a plenty long time of racing left to go here. Is lap 117 of 200, and a little bit of shuffling around that we see happening. I'm not sure who that was. It looked like possibly Jaden. No, that was Nicholas Lavelle moving about there behind Sean Williams. Lavelle here maybe trying to find a line to make a pass here. I'm not exactly certain. All right, interesting. I think Lavelle here is definitely trying to set himself up for a pass around Sean Williams, and I think Sean Williams is just giving him a hard time and not letting him take that bottom line to make that pass here. And that's going to allow Jaden Hopp here to start to pick up the pace here. Drops up behind the number 10 of Nicholas Lavelle, and a lot of our field starting to go back into that single line formation that we've seen for a lot of this race here. You know, a lot of these drivers not really wanting to take that side-by-side action all the way through this race. I mean, this isn't Dega. You don't have that opportunity to go 2-3 wide and be able to just hold it there lap after lap. I mean, this track is, like I said, you really only have that one lane, that one groove to really put the pressure on, get the gas down. And even then, you really got to be careful there. If you're on that gas too much, if you're on it too early, it's going to be disastrous. Checking back in with Cody Welch, the fan favorite, the 85 machine, trying to work his way back up into the top 10. He's behind Tony Hilbrand's, currently sitting in 10th place at this point in time. And it looks like he might be able to make the pass here as he's side by side going into turn 1, and there it is. Pushing himself back up here into the top 10. Cody Welch, he is on a mission to get himself back up to at least the top 5. I really hope to see Welch back up there competing for that position, but we'll just have to wait and see. There's still a long race left to go, and anything can happen. So a lot of our action starting to get pretty calm here. Let's take a look at our track map on the bottom right-hand side of our screen. You can see exactly where all of these drivers are stacking up at this point in time. And really, a lot of our battles here are between just two sets of a set of drivers. Really, it's not really seeing a whole lot of 3 wide or big pack racing at this point in time. Obviously, it's Milwaukee Mile. But really, it's interesting to see how spread out this track or this field starts to get after a few laps of green flag racing. It just goes to show how tough it is to be competitive in a track like this. And we've seen some extremely strong drivers run into problems. So it's not, you know, it's not exactly like there's a certain way to make it around Milwaukee. I mean, there's definitely a lot of different strategies, I think, that are being played out here. Drivers trying to do different things, make different lines work. Trying to test the waters, see what they can and can't do. All within reason, of course, as well. So looking back here with our leaders, Howie Briss, Aaron Smith, both 1 and 2 here. Going to be coming across the line, and that's going to bring us lap 126 of 200. Coming down the back straight here. Yeah, a lot of this field here is very, very well spread out. I mean, it's not a whole lot that these drivers can do to mitigate that. I mean, it's really the only thing that we can expect to see is another caution come out and stack this field back up, which, frankly, I don't think any of these drivers want to see that happen. I think these drivers are probably pretty tired of cautions at this point and just want to see green flag racing all the way until the end. As Aaron Smith coming out of turn 2, he's starting to close in on Howie Briss here, our championship leader, as well as our race leader at this point in time. Howie here going to try and extend his points lead even further if he can come away with a win here tonight. And that's going to be easier said than done. As we watch now with Paul Mikolajczyk and Charles Jurek duke it out there for just a moment. Coming down the back, or the front straight now, rather. And we got a question in the chat. Does Cody Welch have damage? Let's take a look and see. I'm not exactly sure how well we'll be able to see it, as our camera crew did not get us as close as we normally would like to be here. But we can try and see if we can spot anything. That side of the car seems to be A-okay. Which really would be the spot that we would want to look for. So it seems to be that the 85 is looking pretty clean. I'm not seeing anything that's standing out to myself at this moment. As the clouds make their way over Milwaukee Mile here. Going to be cooling off the track just a little bit. That's going to hopefully give drivers a little bit more traction to work with. Even if it is only for just a moment. So looking back here, Tony Hilbrand's battling it out here with Cody Miller. Oh dear, we got a caution. Charles Jurek. Oh no. Oh dear. All right. Let's see exactly how this unfolded here for the 76 of Charles Jurek. He gets loose out of 2, smacks the bottom wall on the front straight. Facing the wrong direction across the checkered line. And here he attempting to get it spun back around here the right direction. So that's going to bring out our ninth caution of the race here tonight. And really, that's just only going to make things even more uncertain for this race as drivers coming down into the pits. So we'll see who's going to take tires. You see Aaron Smith going up. Tony Hilbrand's up. Benny Hogan, I think, went up. Yep, he's up there. So a lot of our drivers here taking tires this time around. And I think, realistically, I think we'll only have one more time that drivers will come down into the pits and want to take a new set of tires before the end of the race here. But we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how that goes. See how that goes here. While our field gets stacked back up here and behind the pace car, we're going to take one quick commercial break, folks. Got to get myself a little bit of water here in the booth. And when we return, we will have more coverage of the Milwaukee 200. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, and we will be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. And welcome back, folks. So James Coulibaly here, going to be in first place with Howie Briss in second, Scott Shire in third, James Miller in fourth, Jaden Hopp in fifth. So things have really, really taken a very different direction here for this race. And now there's just a whole other level of uncertainty now, I feel, at this point. So here we go, the pace car gonna dive down into the pits here in just a moment. There he goes, and the green flag will fly. Let's see what James Coulibaly's got in the tank here. A little bit of a rough start there. Scott Shire able to take advantage of that really delayed start there from James Coulibaly, it seemed like. Not sure if that was intentional or if he just did not get the foot down on the pedal the way that he intended there for that start. But James Coulibaly back down into sixth place now, but we got a car sideways. It's Jaden Hopp, the 81 machine. The big one is out. Turn 4, it's a pileup going out of turn 4, trying to go onto the front straight here. We got a bundle of cars stacked up here. Michael Ashmore, Logan Jones, Michael Keithley, Matthew Fitz, Tony Hilbrands, Max Neuwirth, Nicholas Lavelle. It's a pileup. Let's take a look at the replay here and see exactly what unfolded here. Oh, you see Hilbrands, he started to get, no, that was Scott Shire. He started to get loose. Jaden Hopp, not able to go anywhere. He goes into the back end, and here we are. Multiple drivers getting collected in that one. That's going to bring out yet another caution, our 10th one of the night. My, oh my. I have no words, folks. I have no words. That just completely changed this whole race. I don't even know what else could possibly happen here. I don't even want to ponder that thought. Wow. This has been a grueling race for all of these drivers. I mean, this has been tough just through and through. And now that, man, right now looking, okay, so we still got a pretty good chunk of our drivers still in the field. Looks like Alex Anderson has retired, Nick Nickerson, and as well as Keith Lee, who we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. All going to be calling it a night for today's race. They're going to be packing up the trailer and heading on to our next scheduled event, which will be the Windy City 200 at Chicago. And Jennifer Wonders asking who was in the wreck. A lot, unfortunately. So, Jaden Hopp, Benny Hogan, Michael Keithley, Nicholas Lavelle, Max Neuwirth, Tony Hilbrands, Jaden Hopp, Matthew Fitz, Charles Jurek, and Cody Welch, Logan Jones, and Michael Ashmore. All were involved in that wreck, unfortunately. I don't know, folks. I think things have really just taken a very interesting turn, and I don't know now. I mean, this is really... we still got a few of our drivers. Well, actually, no, there's still quite a few of them up here in the lead. Man, that's a tough way to bring out a caution here, and I feel like I kind of jinxed it saying we haven't had any that have seen multiple drivers getting involved with one another, but man, that was just tough. That was tough to watch, but we only got 60 laps left to go here. The pace car dives down into the pits, and the green flag flies once again here at the Milwaukee Mile, and we are racing once again. Howie Briss alongside James Miller going into turn one. Coming out of two down the back straight here. Oh no, we already got carnage back here. The Scott Shire machine, the number 4. Oh man. Oh boy. Okay, let's see what happened here with Scott Shire. Oh no. There you see Cody Welch as well in the 85 machine just behind. Oh no. So that was a sandwich effect. Man, it only gets worse as it goes on, too. It just gets worse. Close your eyes, folks. Look away. It's too tough to see. That is just, man. And bringing out our 11th caution here tonight after that restart, that is just tough. And really this is going to be a compounding issue here. We're going to see all of our drivers here. I mean, this is the second caution that we've had back to back like this. It's going to cool our drivers' tires off. I mean, it's going to cool off the track just ever so slightly. I mean, it's just going to be tough to get these cars restarted as effectively as we have been. But I mean, I don't want to say that is exactly what we're going to see here, as it hasn't happened yet, but right now, you know, as we're closing in on the final quarter of the race here, the drivers are really starting to push themselves, and since we've had that now 2 wrecks come out here, I mean, really a lot of drivers are going to be pushing to do all that they can to put themselves back up into the positions they want to be, and Oh man, it's a tough thing to try and work through that, especially now that we have just basically taken our whole field and just shuffled them like a deck of cards. Yeah, it's definitely not what we want to see here. All right, folks. This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets really interesting. I am interested to see how this is going to unfold over the next few laps. I mean, Howie Briss right now, he's looking like he wants to take home the win here. But there's a couple other factors that might possibly just sneak up on him and change that. Aaron Smith, still sitting in 6th place at this point in time, could very well work his way up here and take that lead spot. Tony Hilbrand's in 10th place currently. I wouldn't exactly say he would be the first one I'd worry about, but definitely another driver out there that is capable of getting himself up here into the top 3, the top 5. Here we go. Stacked up too wide. Pace car gonna dive down into the pits here. Green flag is out and away we go. Howie Briss, James Miller gonna be duking it out here. Not for long. Howie Briss definitely able to get that nice clean start that he's been able to time after time here as we work our way down the back straight here. Looking to keep things calm and steady. Paul Mikolajczyk, the 38 machine, able to get around Aaron Smith here, pushing his way into the top 5. As we cross the line, it's lap 147 of 200. Oh, man, that looked a little close there. Patrick Colby, as well as William Britton, almost make a little bit of contact there. You can see just behind them Michael Keithley, Matthew Fitz, as well as James Coulibaly. And Scott Shire duking it out side by side here. All getting very, very close to one another. Let's actually ride onto the nose. We are wrecking William Britton. Man, oh, man. What happened? So William Britton here gets a little loose coming out of 4. Gets it sideways and snaps it back around. But who was it that... Charles Jurek? Yeah, he came... Woo, yeah, he came spinning in into the pits. Here, take a look at Charles Jurek right after he makes that little bit of contact, and there he goes. Definitely going to catch a speeding penalty for that one. But that's tough. Tough break for all of these drivers here tonight. 12th caution, lap 149 of 200. Man, I'm sure that all of these drivers are looking to finish this race under green flag condition. I mean, obviously we have to, given that we have our GWC attempts, but either way, either how, I really think that a lot of these drivers want to see this race go all the way until the end under green flag. I really this is definitely got to be one of those races where, as a driver, you maybe not necessarily frustrated, but just getting to that point where you're just like, ah, man, again. And that starts to wear on you as a driver mentally, and sometimes it shows in a driver's performance. So Howie Briss, after last week's race at Talladega, he actually did not finish the race. Well, he did finish the race, but he finished with under 8 laps behind the leader. So didn't exactly have the best race at Talladega, finishing 20th on the grid or for the final race results. But coming here at the Milwaukee Mile, I mean, it almost seems like an even tougher track than Talladega. And just coming and absolutely dominating this grid. It's just, well, I don't want to say dominating, because we've definitely seen a change in hands of the lead here between Tony Hilbrand's, Howie Briss, Aaron Smith. I mean, it's just been a kind of a swap back and forth between all of these drivers here tonight. So, I don't know. I am curious to see how this is going to go for our drivers here tonight. As we make our way into turn 3 and come out of 4, we will see the pace car dive back down into the pits. Stacked up 2 wide, Howie Briss, James Miller lined up on the front row. The green flag flies once again. Let's see how this restart goes for these drivers. Lap 152 of 200. In the final quarter of this race, will we see a green flag all the way until the very end? Coming down the back straight here, it is some intense battles happening throughout this entire field here. You can see drivers 3 wide as they work their way into turn 3. A little bit of a moment there. Who is that? Benny Hogan gets a little bit loose, keeps it together. All of these drivers trying to push and push in this final end of the race here. Going into turn 1, it is just, oh man. It is incredible, the action that we have down here on the track right now on our screens. Michael Keithley that we're going to look at right now, he's up on top of Cody Welch in the 85 machine. The 85 up into 10th place, trying to push himself further and further up this grid, working his way to Patrick Colby. Now Nicholas Lavelle, who's facing the wrong direction on the front straight. Bringing out the caution here once again. Nicholas Lavelle gets a little bit loose coming out of 4. There goes Lavelle. Man, that's rear end just started to get away from him as he came out of 4 and it just wasn't able to correct it in time. And that's going to bring out our 13th caution here for today's race. And as drivers get themselves stacked up behind the pace car and ready for the next restart here, we're going to take a quick commercial break here, folks. When we come back, we will have more coverage of the 2022 VRL Cup Series Milwaukee 200. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and we will be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. Welcome back, race fans, as we get ready to witness our next restart here. As we cross the line, it's lap 157 of 200. I gotta say, folks, this has been an exciting race all the way through. I mean, this has been just incredible to watch and to call the action for. I mean, it's just the level of uncertainty going into this race. It was, I mean, I knew it was going to be pretty interesting, but I didn't realize that Milwaukee Mile just had a whole different set of plans in mind for the race here today. But needless to say, I'm excited. I hope everyone watching at home is excited. And I hope that we get to see some intense battles for this lead going into the end of the race and really throughout the field. I mean, we've seen some very, very close battles happening all the way, whether it's first place all the way back to 10th to 15th. It's just been everywhere has been something to see here at the Milwaukee Mile. And I frankly, I wish it was just we were at the real life track calling the race. But you know what? Sometimes you have to make do. Well, either way, this is exciting, and I really couldn't ask for a better race here for these drivers for this race here for this series. I mean, given the cautions, even if we were to ignore all of the cautions here tonight, I think tonight's race has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. As we watch the pace car make its way down into pit road, the green flag flies here once again. We cross the line. It's lap 159 of 200 here. Howie Briss in the lead, and he is looking to take home a win here tonight if he can do so. He's shown that he's able to lead this field and stay out in front very, very well. So it's just a matter of how long is he going to be able to stick it out in front and hold on to that first place position. Is it going to be all the way until the very end? Just have to wait and see. Meanwhile, back in 10th place, looking at 13th right now, Max Neuwirth in that 66 machine, looking almost, oh man, that almost would look like a three-wide battle there for a moment. Settling back out, coming out of turn 2 onto the back straight here. Most of our field going single file down this back straight. You can see the fan favorite, Cody Welch, the 85 machine, sitting in 8th place at this moment. He's still got time left here, folks, and I think that if he continues on this path, he might be able to get himself back up here. But he's got to have some doors open up for him if he's looking to make that happen for himself here. But still plenty of laps left to get himself up here into the top 5. He sits in 7th now as he made that pass around Michael Keithley. You can see Scott Shire as well as looks like Patrick Colby duking it out side by side just behind them. Sean Williams, Aaron Smith, both duking it out side by side here for the 3rd place spot. You can see Tony Hilbrands, the number 92 machine, also looking to get a little piece of the action here, sitting in 5th place currently. Drivers trying to keep this race as calm and steady as they can all the way until the very end, but also keep it exciting, which, I mean, really isn't hard to do when you're behind the wheel and you're going 150 miles an hour. It definitely feels pretty exciting when you're behind the wheel. A lot of our drivers here staying extremely calm and patient. Let's ride on board with the nose camera of Cody Welch in the 85 machine. As we come down the back straight, he's behind Cody Miller in the 28. You can see the rear end of Cody Miller's 28 machine wanting to get away from him there. As he gets the power down, coming out of turn 4, we're working our way into turn 1 right now, excuse me. The 09 makes a little bit of contact to the 28 of Cody Miller, sends him spinning around, the caution's out. Coming out of turn 2. No other cars involved in that one, but James Miller definitely catching a little piece of that one as Cody Miller gets a little loose there. Looking at the 09 of James Miller, there he goes, tapping the rear end of Cody Miller, sends him spinning around right in the middle between turn 1 and 2. That will bring out yet another caution here today. Our 14th caution tonight. And this may be the final pit stops here. As we see drivers making their way into pit lane here. Just a handful of them, though. Not exactly as many as I thought there might have been there. But needless to say, ooh, you guys are going to love this one. Check this out. Aaron Smith, first place. Guess who's in second? Cody Welch. With James Miller sitting in that third place spot. You know, I knew there was going to be a point in this race where things were going to shuffle up just one. You know what? It's going to shuffle up again. I don't want to say one more time because I feel like I've said that 100 times already, and it hasn't been one more time. It's always one more time. Anyway, point being, Aaron Smith, after I don't even know how long it's been since we've seen this 70 machine out here in the front. So this is just, I don't know what to say. I'm honestly kind of surprised that Howie Briss decided to come down into the pits here lap 100. Well, I guess I'm not that surprised. They were gonna have to come down into the pits regardless. I'm really shocked here at what we're seeing. And right now, looking at things, I don't know, Aaron Smith and the rest of the drivers here, they might be able to make it all the way until the very end on these tires that they're on. Aaron Smith, Cody Welch, well, Aaron Smith came in lap 132. Cody Welch came in lap 142. So it's definitely plausible that, that both of these drivers are going to be able to stay out all the way until the checkered flag. Now, how effective they're going to be, not exactly certain, especially compared to the drivers that just decided to come down into the pits and get a fresh set of tires, if that is indeed in fact what they were doing. Yeah, I don't know. There is just a lot of different things being put out and in play here in this final 30 laps of the race. This is going to be exciting to watch, folks. Stick around. Get yourselves a snack and a drink and get ready for the next 30 laps of the Milwaukee 200 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. It is going to be an absolute barn burner. I hope you all are ready. I know I certainly am, and I am hyped up. Let's get this race going on, and let's see these drivers take it around Milwaukee Mile and take the checkered flag and crown a winner for the race here tonight. So here we go, we're stacked up. Double file. Pace car dives down into pit lane. It's Aaron Smith, Cody Welch on the front line. Aaron Smith launching the 70 machine right into turn 1 here. Let's see what these drivers got in store here as we work our way into turn 1. Look at this field here back towards, oh man, you can see Tony Hilbrand's involved in the mix there. We got a little bit of contact though. Tony Hilbrand smacking the rear end of the 64 machine of William Britton. Oh, and it just gets worse. It only gets worse. So let's take a look here. Let's actually see if we can back that up here. Oh man, oh man. The 28 machine, Cody Miller also involved, Jaden Hopp, Sean Williams, Paul Mikolajczyk. Oof. Well, while that does bring out another caution here, that doesn't necessarily affect our drivers up here in the front. As right now, Aaron Smith going to be sitting in that first place spot. James Miller, having worked his way up into second place now, going to be giving Cody Welch a little bit of something to work for here. As Cody's going to drop down into the pits. He might be planning to take tires here. I mean, obviously he's going to be taking tires. I don't know how exactly that's going to play out for him. Maybe he's expecting, I don't know. With the way this race has been going here, folks, I have a feeling that Welch is expecting another caution to come out, and when it does, he wants to have that tire advantage. He wants to be well ahead of everyone else when the rest of the field does decide to come down into the pits, if they decide to come down into the pits. Now, once we come back to green, it'll probably be lap 174, I'd have to guess. And so when that happens, right now, looking at the field, James Miller, he came in lap 155, Scott Shire 148. It's all over the place. I mean, we've got drivers just all over the place on pit strategy right now. So as far as trying to pick a favorite here with pit strategy, I don't know. I don't know. You know, because at first I thought it might have been Benny Hogan who had the real strategy game here kind of played out, but Benny Hogan sitting in 10th place, not exactly probably what he was planning on, but still he had a really good run there in the beginning, and he's still keeping it up here in the top 10, so gotta give props to Benny Hogan for keeping that number 5 machine out here for as long as he had, given just all the carnage that we've seen out on track, and really no one has been exempt from getting involved into those incidents. So really great to see the strong drivers that we have out on track, as looks like we're just getting lined up here. Gonna go double file, and yep, next time around it looks like we will be going back to green flag racing here at the Milwaukee Mile. So when we cross the line, it'll be lap 175. Just 25 laps left to go before we conclude our race here today at the Milwaukee Mile for the Milwaukee 200 of the 2022 VRL Cup Series. It's going to be Aaron Smith, James Miller on your front row, Scott Shire, Michael Keithley in your second row, Nicholas Lovell and Max Neuwirth in your third row. Here on this restart, let's see how this plays out. Our field is ready. The pace car dives down into the pits. And the green flag is out. 26 laps left to go as we cross the line, and here we go. Aaron Smith in the lead, getting that jump that he has done time and time again here. Looking at our field, we got a little bit of three-wide action and unfolding just behind them. As we come down the back straight, Patrick Colby, the number 9 machine, gets loose all on his own, smacks the bottom wall. 26 laps left to go. He's all on his lonesome there. It's not going to bring out the caution. We're going to keep green flag racing here. Looking back up with our leader, duking it out with James Miller in the 09 machine. Both of these drivers, man, pushing. That's all they can do here. The caution's out. Benny Hogan. Oh, man, look at that. 5 machine just crumpled. Taking a look at the replay here, going into turn 1. Gets a tap from Cody Welch from behind. Ooh! That was a rough one. And I have a feeling that is going to be the end of Benny Hogan's race here tonight, as that front end is mangled. That hardly even looks like a front end of a race car anymore. Wow. Oh, someone's on the grass. Max Neuwirth, the 66 machine. He might have been coming in there a little bit too hot. He was probably trying to slow himself down there. Either way, that is one way to do it. So, here's that caution that I was talking about a little bit ago. And, yeah, folks, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see these drivers up here in the front drop down into the pits and take a final set of tires. I really think that that is going to be it for a lot of our field here. There may be a chance for one more, but I honestly doubt it. With 23 laps left to go, and by the time we come back to green, it'll be probably 21 or 20 laps. So here we go, down the back straight. Drivers getting lined up, double file. And as we come into turn 3 and come out of turn 4, we will be greeted with that lovely green flag once again. Oh, never mind. One more time around. Okay, that was my mistake. So indeed, it will be 20 laps left to go. Once we come back to green here. All right. Pace car is going to dive down into the pits, and here we go. The green flag is out. Aaron Smith on the loud pedal. Let's see what our field is going to do here going into turn 1. We got drivers moving and grooving all around here as we come down the back straight here. Oh, we got someone sideways. Max Neuwirth. Oh, no. Cody Welch involved in that one. James Coulibaly, Tony Hilbrands, Jaden Hopp. Oh, folks. That is definitely not what we wanted to see here. Our 17th caution here for the 2022 VRL Cup Series Milwaukee 200. It has been an absolutely insane night for all of our drivers here tonight. And oh, man. It has been just up and down and all around for these drivers here tonight, and I just can't, man, I feel for these drivers right now. I really do. And for everyone that was involved in these incidents, I mean, it's so tough being put out of a race like that. So a lot of our field right now, or some of our field rather, is in the pits right now, getting damage sorted out, and it might, no, I think Aaron's trying to fake out the field here. Yep, definitely trying to fake him out, trying to get everyone to think that he's going down into the pits to get a fresh set of tires. He's saying, nope, I am not doing that. I'm going to stay out on these same set of tires, even though fully well and knowing that Aaron Smith here has, I think, at least another set of tires. He's got at least one more set of tires down there in the pits. So, I don't know. Aaron definitely not really too eager on letting go of this lead right now, especially knowing last week he came away with the win from Talladega. Is he going to be able to pull it off here again for the Milwaukee 200 and make it a back-to-back win here? Let's find out as we get ready to get our drivers stacked back up and ready to rock and roll here. So here we go, getting the drivers lined up. Double file here. And one interesting thing to note about Aaron Smith, having won last week's race at Talladega, the week before that at Richmond, he also came away with second place for that race. So, Aaron Smith is definitely doing phenomenal here in these past few races, and I think that it's definitely shown the work and effort that is being put into that 70 machine to make it as competitive as it is. But right now it's Aaron Smith, James Miller on your front row, Scott Shire, Nicholas Lavelle in your second row, Michael Keithley, Howie Briss in your third row. Pace car about to dive down into the pits here once again. There it goes. The green flag flies. We cross the line. It's 15 laps left to go. Let's see where the battles unfold here As we work our way into turn 1, look at this. Oh, you see Benny Hogan still out there with the same beat-up 5 machine. He is not giving up this race, even if it means taking a banged-up 5 machine across the line. You can see missing all of that front end there. The hood also beat up and scraped up, and bent up, rather. I'm sure the pit crew is going to have a lovely time rebuilding that machine after the race is concluded here tonight. But right now, it's all about Aaron Smith, and if he can take home the win here tonight and make it a back-to-back win for that number 70 machine here in the VRL Cup Series. Right now, we're looking at Scott Shire as well as Howie Briss duking it out side by side. Howie Briss, the current championship leader, sitting in third place currently, 14 laps left to go. He's got an opportunity to possibly get himself up towards the front, but it's going to take a lot of effort to get there. He's got some time, but he's got to capitalize it. He's got to make these moves as early as he can to be able to get up there and compete with Aaron Smith, who's starting to drive away from this field. You can start to see Nicholas Lavelle, the 10 machine, starting to get stacked up here behind these drivers. Let's ride on board with the 10 of Nicholas Lavelle. Coming down the front straight across the checkered line. It's 12 laps left to go. On the inside of Howie Briss here. Very, very close. Very close. You can see Howie Briss. He noticed that 10 machine getting up on his inside. He backed off there a little bit as we come down the back straight. Lavelle with the inside line advantage, able to get around Howie Briss, taking that third place spot as we work our way out of turn 4 and onto the front straight. Great driving from everyone here right now in these final few laps, and they're really trying to put the pressure on here. But you can see Aaron Smith is just driving away from this field and doing so very impressively. Oh man, Howie Briss there almost looked like he was about to make contact with the rear end of the 10 of Nicholas Lavelle. Able to keep it clean here with 10 laps left to go. Very patient, very steady racing from our drivers right now currently. Nicholas Lavelle trying to stay on the rear end of Scott Shire. Scott holding on to third place right now, and Nicholas really trying to do everything that he can here to make that pass. It's 9 laps left to go now as we cross the checkered line. Aaron Smith still trying to drive away this lead. James Miller doing all that he can to try and track down that 70 machine. But time is definitely ticking away. And that opportunity for some of these drivers to get back up here into the lead is slowly starting to fade away. As we look here with Tony Hillbrands on the inside of the number 3 of Logan Jones, coming out of turn 2 and onto the back straight. A little bit of a wobble there from the number 3 of Logan Jones, able to keep it together. Working our way into turn 3 now. A lot of our drivers here spread out single file for the most part. Not really a whole lot of battles happening up here towards the front of the field, or really throughout our field in general, and I'm quite surprised by that, given the 7 laps left to go. But either way, Howie Briss here still trying to stay on the tail of Nicholas Lavelle. I don't think Howie at this point in the race is really going to be thinking about trying to get up to the lead. He's really just going to be thinking about position and getting himself as far up as he can as he works his way down on the inside of Nicholas Lavelle. Going into turn 1, the pass is successful. Coming out of 2 and down the back straight, Lavelle going to be looking to try and make a pass here. A little bit of shake and bake move there from Howie Briss. trying to break up the air behind him. Going to keep himself into 4th place now, doing an incredible job here. Checking back in with Cody Miller, the 11th place driver in the 28th machine, just behind Matthew Fitz. Kind of checking in with some of our close battles that we have happening down on track right now. You can see Michael Keithley now in front of Logan Jones, who we saw Logan Jones battling it out there for a minute with, I believe it was Cody Miller. But either way, it's 4 laps left to go. And there is not a whole lot of time left in this race in there. That's a sad sight to see. Cody Welch laps down at this point, letting the lead lap drivers make their way around. Cody Welch definitely had a phenomenal race here tonight, and it's so unfortunate to have to see that 85 machine drop back as far as he has. And really, you know, Cody, man, he had some pretty rough times here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. I mean, he's been involved in multiple incidents that were no fault of his own, really. And, you know, he just had to keep working his way through this field, keep doing it over and over again. And, yeah, that's just tough. Cody Welch had an extremely strong run here tonight, but unfortunately not going to conclude the race the way that he probably wanted it to. With 2 laps left to go here, folks, it's Aaron Smith in the lead. James Miller in 2nd. Scott Shire sitting in 3rd right now. Which, for Scott Shire, I'm not sure exactly if Scott Shire here, this if he retains his spot, I believe this will be his first podium of the season for Scott. So that's going to be great here to see as the white flag flies here at the Milwaukee Mile. The final lap is out. James Miller putting some pressure on Aaron Smith coming down the back straight here. Oh, man, I feel a pass coming. Maybe not. There's a little bit too much space between these two drivers, but maybe we'll see Miller send it going into 3. Nope, not going to be enough. The checkered flag flies. We come out of turn 4. Aaron Smith takes it across the line for first. James Miller slides it across the line for second. Scott Shire taking home his first podium for 3rd place, and Howie Briss just behind him taking home 4th as the rest of the field makes their way across the checkered line and completes today's race. Man, my oh my, folks, what a race it has been. This was phenomenal through and through. I hope you all enjoyed that action here tonight. This was just fantastic. But let's go ahead and get ready for our post-race results as well as our post-race interviews. So, currently taking home the win, it's Aaron Smith in the number 70 machine, James Miller in 2nd, Scott Shire in 3rd, Howie Briss in 4th, Nicholas Lavelle in 5th, Tony Hillbrands in 6th, Logan Jones in 7th, Michael Keithley in 8th, Patrick Colby in 9th, Matthew Fitz in 10th, Cody Miller in 11th, James Coulibaly in 12th, Sean Williams in 13th, Steve Ulrich in 14th, Michael Ashmore in 15th, Benny Hogan in 16th, Cody Welch in 17th, Jaden Hopp in 18th, Max Newworth in 19th, William Britton in 20th, Paul Mikolajczyk in 21st, Charles Jurek in 22nd, Alex Anderson in 23rd, Nick Nickerson in 24th, and rounding out the field, Keith Lee. So, let's go ahead and get ready for our post-race interviews. As right now, you know, this was a phenomenal race to watch, and frankly, I'm just excited that this race ended the way that it did. But either way, either how, let's go ahead and get ready for our post-race interviews here today. So starting up first, it's going to be Scott Shire, the number 4 machine, going to be up here first. So let's go ahead and get him into the booth. Scott, sir, do you have a read?
I do.
Scott, welcome to the podium for the very first time for this season. Scott, this was a very, very tricky race, and after coming from Talladega last week, I mean, it seemed like carnage then. This was a whole different story. I mean, this is a flat, large oval, and I mean, man, watching you guys before practice, I had a feeling it was going to be an interesting race, and here we are, almost 2.5 hours later from the start of our race, and man, I'm sure that you are probably glad to finally be done with it and out of the sim rig, and hopefully crack one open and celebrate. But Scott, I want to quit jibber jabber, and I want to let you explain your race and walk me through how it went for you and what led to taking home third tonight.
Yeah, I'm not really good here, so I'm really happy with third. And when I got in that one wreck, I thought I was done for, and it just happened to take that last set of tires and that one caution, and it just helped out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was definitely waiting for a kind of a final pit stop to happen kind of towards the final, I think 30 or 40 laps or so. A few drivers took it, not very many did. I mean, it definitely was interesting to see the different strategies being played out here. I know Aaron Smith, he was on the same set of tires from lap 132, and yeah, it was just very interesting to see all that being played out. But Scott, it was phenomenal watching yourself battle it out there on track, and kind of found yourself in a lucky spot there with that one wreck coming out, that big wreck, and you were able to push yourself up here kind of into the top 5 and stay there. Given that you've taken a podium this week, what does that give you going forward into Chicago next week?
I should be pretty good next week. I have on and off weeks with that track, and I should do good though. It should be all right.
Absolutely. Well, Scott, I want to thank you for coming up here and chatting with me in the booth, and congratulate you on taking home third place tonight, your first podium of the season. And before you head out and crack one open and celebrate, is there anyone at home, anyone in the pit crew or watching the broadcast that you want to shout out and thank before you go?
I just want to thank Tony for putting the league on, and then for you guys broadcasting. You guys do a good job up there. Very enjoyable.
Thank you much. Well, Scott, thank you for coming up here once again and chatting with me, and I look forward to seeing you next week at the Windy City.
Yep, thank you. See you next week.
Absolutely. All right, folks, so that is going to be Scott Shire out of the booth here. Up next, it's going to be James Miller, the 09 machine, taking home second place here tonight. There he is. James, sir, do you have a read?
I gotcha.
James, what an incredible race that we had here tonight. You know, I wasn't exactly expecting the number of cautions that we had here, but for a lot of this field, I mean, I don't think it could have worked out better for them. I mean, it really shaked up this field to the point where we had a complete shuffle of drivers. You know, we had the whole front of the field go to the back and the back go to the front. I mean, it was wild. But James, I want you to walk me through a little bit of what happened tonight in that 09 machine. I know that there was a couple woes here and there that we saw. I think the 09 machine involved in, I'm pretty sure if I recall correctly. And yeah, just what do you think led to your success here to take home second? And do you think it was a little bit of luck, or do you think it was something else?
I'll be honest, I think it was a bit of luck, but I don't know, practice didn't really go well for me. I was never really comfortable setting the car in hard to the turns. I felt like I was really slow entering the corners compared to the competition. And the lap time wasn't quite there. And then I don't know, I pulled a clean lap out for qualifying. I guess shows a little bit, but when the green flag dropped, well, I mean, it probably didn't help I spun myself out under pacing, but when the green flag dropped, it didn't really go. I was definitely dropping back, struggling a bit, and then I just figured I didn't expect this many cautions, so I saved a set of tires at the start, and I don't know if it was just me running with the old tires. It started to really feel good, really work in, and then took my first set of tires, and I was staying up there with Howie for second, and like I was keeping pace. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I did figure it out, and it just kind of stayed that way towards the end of the race there. Did a little bit of strategy to get a little bit of fresher tires than Aaron, but I mean, I ran the 28 over, which was just completely idiotic of me. I'll admit it right here. But it, unfortunately, it helped me out because that caused a caution. A bunch of people pitted, and it got me some more track position to where I was behind Aaron basically the rest of the race. Just a little, not frustrating because it wasn't that big of a deal, but the restart cautions I kept pushing really hard to make something happen early, and then the caution come out, so that I try to like save my tires, but I just kind of wore them out a lot at the end, and then we had a green flag run right to the end, and I was doing my best to go fast but not overdo it, and I almost got him, but yeah, it was a little bit of luck, I'll say. I'm not sure where the short run speed came at the end, but track position definitely helped.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun watching this race here tonight, and frankly, given this is your second podium of the season, and going into Chicago next week, I mean, that's gotta be feeling a little bit kind of like a sigh of relief almost, we had Talladega last week, we had the Milwaukee Mile this week. I mean, both just really, really tough tracks to get any sort of results out of. And what are you feeling going into next week now that you have two podiums under your belt and looking very strong out there on track? I mean, even despite the circumstances, how are you feeling about Chicago, and what are your expectations there?
Well, if I could do what I did this race at Chicago, then obviously it would be great. But like you said, I mean, I won the championship last year. Now, mostly off of just consistency compared to the other guys. But towards the end there, most of these guys who are up front now were doing better than me at the end of the season. It just throughout the season kind of helped me get to the championship. But I've been struggling this season. So it's nice to have a good run, and I really hope I could keep it going for Chicagoland, and that I kind of have my drive back. I don't know. It's been a little worrisome this season. It's kind of had a lot of bad luck, to be honest. So it's nice to have a race go our way.
Well, it's still a long season to go, and there's definitely a lot of races to turn that around and send it the other direction, if you will. But James, I want to thank you for coming up here and chatting with me in the booth, and congratulate you on taking home second place. Before I let you go and celebrate tonight, is there anyone at home watching the broadcast or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go?
Yeah, just shout out to Team AB and Jeffrey Fisher, who would have been here, but his internet went out again, so I hope he gets that sorted out so he can join me in doing these races. And thanks to Tony for the league, and thanks to you for broadcasting it.
Absolutely. Thank you once again, James, for joining me here in the booth, and see you next week at Chicago.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, that is going to be James Miller out of the booth in the 09 machine, taking home second place. Last and certainly not least, Aaron Smith, our race winner, the number 70 machine, in here in the booth. Aaron, do you have a read?
Yeah, I've got you.
Aaron, you are making a habit of coming up here and chatting with me in the booth week after week. Coming home from a win last week at Talladega, coming here to the Milwaukee Mile. You were looking extremely strong there in the beginning of the race. Had a little bit of setbacks towards the middle, and right towards the end, it seemed like the doors were just opened, wide open for you, and you were able to retake the lead and stay there. Aaron, how was your race here tonight, and what was it like having that position just completely swap on you kind of midway through the race?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I've never really liked this track because of how flat it is. I've never really been able to find grip with these cars here, but the setup felt good all race. I felt like I was in the top 3 quickest cars the whole way through, and the circumstances all played out in my favor. I thought my race was over when I went and sped on pit lane, going for the lead in like lap 110 or whatever, but once that big wreck happened ahead of me, I'm straight up at about 6th place, so we worked from there and brought home the win. Not sure how I held off James in that last run, but I'm glad we were able to finish it off clean.
Yeah, you have had some extremely strong runs here in the past few races, and I think this one is no exception. You like I said, you were driving the wheels off that machine in the earlier half of the race, and like you said, you had that little bit of a mishap about midway through the race, and luck would have it, you were able to get yourself back up in front here. And one of the interesting things that I noticed, Aaron, you were staying out on pretty old tires there going towards the end. How were those tires feeling battling with James Miller, who had just about 20 laps or so fresher tires at that point in the race?
Yeah, right about that point, I was feeling pretty good on them. I ran my quickest lap of the race, and that I think it was the second or third lap of that last run on those worn-out tires. But yeah, they dropped off pretty quick, and I was worried that James was going to get to me there in the last couple laps. But fortunately, the gap kind of plateaued from there, and we were able to hold on.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's just always fun to watch yourself get up here and battle with these drivers that are competing for the championship right now. I know that yourself. Not always active in the series, but it's great to see yourself here in the past few races and participating. It's always great to see some new, fresh competition out there on the track, even if it's not all the time. But anyway, before I let you go here, Aaron, is there anyone watching, anyone at home, anyone in the pit crew that you want to shout out or thank? And before you go home and crack one open?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the folks at the Satellite Racing Team for their support, and everybody at the Velocity Racing League for putting their show on, y'all broadcast, and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it Chicago next week.
Absolutely. Chicago is going to be another exciting one. Aaron, thank you for joining me here in the booth, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, thank you.
Aaron Smith out of the booth in the number 70 machine, taking home the win here tonight for the Milwaukee 200. That is going to conclude our coverage of tonight's race. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you all for watching. If you all enjoyed the action that you saw here tonight, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for all of the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week for the Windy City 200 at Chicago. Thank you all, and see you next time.